Hey, Matt Green here, and I want to share with you the number one asset that you should buy. And this is the most popular asset that's going to generate the most cash flow and passive income on your investment. So when you invest capital in this type of asset, it's going to generate one of the most reliable returns that you can generate. And I've been investing in multifamily real estate for several years now, and we've built a portfolio worth over $80 million. And it's all built on this one type of asset class that I want to share with you. It's not single family housing, or it's not condos, manufactured housing, commercial, industrial. It's actually multifamily real estate. And multifamily real estate is the process of purchasing apartment units and townhouses that you can rent out and generate a return on your investment. So we've been investing into multifamily real estate for many years now, and our portfolio has grown more than $80 million of assets under management, and it's all predicated on investing into multifamily real estate because it's one of the most consistent and reliable assets that you can invest in. And even during the pandemic, it was an asset class that really performed with very little interruption from the pandemic. There was still a lot of collections and rents being paid. Although there was a fraction of people that didn't pay their rent, there still was a really high percentage of people that were good people that paid their rent. So multifamily performed really well during the pandemic, and if you're invested into locations that have really good high quality tenants, then you are in good shape investing into real estate. But the people that suffered the most investing into real estate during the pandemic were people who invested into locations that were less desirable, and maybe the rents were lower. Maybe your rents were $500, $600, or $700, or even $800 per month. But if you had properties that had rents that were around $1,000 or $1,100 or $1,200 or $1,300, all the way up to maybe $1,800 to $2,000 a month, then your rents were always being paid on time with a small percentage of delinquency. So that's why multifamily real estate is a really great asset that you want to put your capital into, because it's going to allow you to multiply your equity. And if you buy your assets correctly at the right price, then you're going to perform really well and have a lot of success investing into multifamily real estate. Multifamily real estate has the cash flow, it's scalable, and it also has the ability to appreciate very rapidly when you purchase a property and force the appreciation by implementing value adds at your property and improving the units by putting in new countertops and kitchens, and all those improvements into the property are going to force the appreciation because you'll be able to increase the rents, and that's going to allow you to increase the value. Your value of your property is all predicated on the pricing of your rent. So if you raise your rents by $200, $300 per month, and you turn over each unit and raise the rental price of every tenant, then your value of your property is going to increase substantially, and that's the name of the game with multifamily real estate. So passive income is one of the biggest benefits of owning multifamily real estate, and when you have all of your units full, and I'm talking about owning properties that have 50 or 100 units at them, and when you have all of these units leased, maybe you have a 5% vacancy or something like that, but in the grand scheme of things, the majority of your units are going to be leased, and it's going to generate a substantial amount of passive income. So you take all of that passive income, and as long as you have all of your units rented at 95% or greater, you're going to be cash flowing really strong at the property. So you just subtract all of your expenses, such as your management and your repairs and maintenance and turnover costs and property taxes and insurance and management. And once you remove all those expenses, you're gonna have a really strong cash flow as long as you're charging the right rents at your property. And this cash flow is indestructible because it's going to be reliable and consistent and long term. And as long as you have good property management at the site, then you can really have the property performing at such a high level that it's going to make you a lot of money. Another huge benefit to multifamily real estate is that it's very scalable. So you can go out and you can buy many different properties, and it's not predicated by how much time you're spending at a specific property. Unlike a job that somebody would work where you have to show up during the day, every single day, multifamily real estate doesn't require your time to be spent to operate the property and own the property. All you have to do is find deals, acquire them, and then you can have people manage the property, or you can manage the property yourself. But there's no limit on the number of properties that you can purchase, and that's why multifamily real estate is such a good investment, is because you can scale it to levels that are unbelievable, and there's no limit, there's no ceiling to how many properties that you can acquire in your portfolio. Multifamily real estate doesn't require you to manage your property all by yourself. You can hire third-party management, and that is going to give you the depth of experience through working with somebody else that has the experience to carry out all the tasks of management at your property. So that's one of the greatest strengths that you can acquire on your team, is property management. And if you don't use a third-party manager, you can manage the property all by yourself and start building your own team internally, and that's another route you can take. So you have to just figure out which route you want to take and what your priorities are. You could even third-party manage your properties in the beginning until you acquire more and more properties, then build out your own team, or you can go either way. It just depends on what your preferences are, but I think the easiest way is just to acquire properties and manage them yourself in the beginning, because then you're going to increase your cash flow because you'll be paying yourself to manage the property, and then as you get bigger, you'll be able to add employees and build a team to help you manage the property, and that's going to be the best way to really scale. And that's going to give you more money, because if you can manage the property and bring on maybe some skilled people that can carry out the work orders and maintenance of your property and the leasing, then it's going to help you make you more money. Third-party managers are great, and that's another route you can take, but you're going to have to pay anywhere from 5 and 10% on your gross scheduled income to pay the manager to manage the property. So if you want to make the most money possible in the beginning, then it's best to manage your property by yourself. But there are options. You don't have to, you can go either way. So it's just nice to have the option to choose either way. Maybe you don't have a lot of time and you have a full-time job, but you're investing in a property, then the best route for you would be to bring in a third-party manager so that you can continue working and also owning property at the same time. Apartment investing is one of the least riskiest assets that you can purchase compared to commercial or single family or any other type of asset within the real estate market, because if you can buy a bunch of units all in one location and you can fill all of these units and keep your vacancy percentages at a minimum, then you're going to have such a strong asset that's going to be really reliable and predictable and consistent with the money coming in and the cash flow. So anytime you can do that and purchase those type of assets, it's going to be the least riskiest asset that you can purchase. And the smaller the deal that you find, almost the more riskier it is, because it's harder to manage. You have to replace roofs on a smaller number of units, and it just becomes less efficient over time compared to if you're buying bigger properties and bigger projects. They may be a little bit harder to acquire at first, but they're going to make you the most money and they're going to generate the most profits. And those are the types of deals that you should be focusing on and looking for.